which we will be at for half a game more, as the Nets are trailing the Virginia Squires by the score of 59-56. High man in the game is Charlie Scott. He has 19 for the Squires. Roland Taylor, Julius Erving with 12 apiece. For the Nets, high man Rick Barry with 17. Bill Melchionni has 15. Gene Moore with 8. The Squires shooting at 49%, 23 for 47 in the first half. The Nets, with all the opportunities, took 55 shots, making only 20, 36%. And they trail, despite the lack of their shooting effectiveness, only by 3. On the opening jump, controlled by the Squires. They go into the basket, 2 hour left. Charlie Scott, left side of the lane, is double team. A pass inside Erving is stolen by Melchionni. Melchionni and Roche in the backcourt. With Washington and Barry at the corners, Gene Moore at center. Melchionni racing to the foul line. He stops, goes top of the key to Washington. Bounce pass to Melchionni, gets past Roland Taylor. He feeds to Moore, lays it up and in. 59-58, the Nets trail by 1. Roland Taylor out of the backcourt. He's at the guard position with Charlie Scott, Julius Erving, and George Irvin at the forwards. Jim Akins at center. A jump from 10 by Erving is short. Rebound taken by the Nets down court. Barry for the long jump from the left side. In and out. Rebound Julius Erving. Erving out of the backcourt along the right sideline to Irvin. Back to Erving down the lane with a jump that is blocked by Moore and a whistle. As Erving got his rebound, went up again, and he was fouled by Washington. So Erving goes to the line, the third personal on the troop. Once again, reminding you that Gary Zeller, the 6'3", 205 guard, out of Drake, and more recently, the Baltimore Bullets, who signed with the Nets on Thursday, is dressed tonight and sitting on the bench. Julius Erving's first shot is good. One more. Hits the front of the rim, bounds out. Washington with a rebound in the lane. Nets trail by 2, 60-58. Nets for the ball. Roche top of the key. He's guarded by Charlie Scott. They're rivals through college, and they have their rivalry now here in the pros. As Barry on the drive flips to Moore in the lane for the hook that is good. Gene Moore on the hook. And we're tied at 60. Scott brings it across on the left side. He's bumped by Roche left side of the circle. He drives to the corner for the one-hander over Roche. Good! Charlie Scott with a turnaround jump from the corner. 62-60. The Squires by 2. Gene Moore has it deep in the forecourt. He hands to Melchionni, works off the screen for Moore, drives to the left baseline, the pass to Moore down the lane. He spins, turnaround, hook around the rim, no good. Tipped by Washington is in. As Washington underneath just poked at the ball and put it through. 62 all. Charlie Scott brings it across. He veers right on Roche. A pass to Fatty Taylor, drives the right baseline. It's blocked by Melchionni, knocked out of bounds. So the Squires will in that bounds underneath as Roland Taylor will throw it in. Taylor throws to Scott, left side of the lane. Turnaround jump and a whistle as Charlie Scott and Johnny Roche bumping. And the foul on Johnny Roche. If you recall Tuesday, the Squires came in here early in the first period. Roche and Scott on the matchup, bouncing each other. And when Scott had the ball on the offense, Roche playing a tight defense, and they started swinging, broken up very quickly. Scott's first foul shot is no good. Second one around the rim, no good. Rebound Washington, the ball loose on the floor. It's taken by Gene Moore. His pass down court to Roche, who catches up with the ball deep along the left sideline, drives right to the foul line down the lane. Pass back to Barry, intercepted by Roland Taylor. Taylor, one-on-one on Washington, across to Erving coming in, spins it up and in. Julius Erving past the basket, spinned it behind him. And he hit 64-62. That's trailed by 2 points. Roche on the left side, hands to Barry and Melchionni at the same time standing together. They battle at the ball, and it's taken by George Irvin. Down court to Charlie Scott, to Roland Taylor, who is on the end line. He tried to save the ball. And it goes back to the Nets. The Nets a little lackadaisical starting this second half. 9:39 remaining. They shot 36% in the first half, but stayed close, trailing by 3 at the end of the half. They trail by 2 now. 64-62 with 9.5 remaining in the third period. Moore, a pass inside, battled away by Akins. Moore battles for the ball loose on the floor, picked up by Erving. Erving down court to Scott, back to Erving in the right corner. He works on Roche, dribbles through his legs, foul line to Erving. Erving with his back to Barry, turnaround, hook, good. The Nets having trouble holding on to the ball. They've given it to the Squires the last 3 times. 66-62. Nets trail by 4. 9 minutes remaining in this third period. Melchionni hands to Roche. Right side, long jump from 20 off the side of the rim. Julius Erving goes up for the rebound. Shovels out to Taylor. Taylor, top of the key across to George Erving. He gets the step on Barry, lays it up, no good. The rebound, Akins, who lays it up and in. 68-62. The Nets showing nothing underneath. As Lou Carnesecca forced into calling this timeout, try to get the Nets going the other way. I'm Al Albert. This is New York Nets basketball action on WHN timeout. Here at the Island Garden, the score, the Squires 68, the Nets 62.
The winning numbers in that section 10
We're at the Island Garden. The Nets are trailing the Virginia Squires 68-62 with 8:41 remaining in this third period. The score was 31-30 at the end of the first period. Virginia by 1 after leading at 1 point by 11 in that first period. 59-56 at the half. And now a 6-point lead for the Squires as they are taking advantage of mistakes by the Nets here early in the third period. Bill Melchionni works it across on Fatty Taylor. He drives left to the top of the key, lead pass to Washington, lays it up and in! Washington. And he has 10. 68-64. Nets trail by 4. Charlie Scott. Right side of the lane. The pass out to Julius Erving, top of the key. Erving drives right. Fakes on Washington. Pumps the one-hander from the baseline, and he hits. Erving now with 17 points. He has 5 already here in this third period. 8:05 remaining. Roche with the ball. Around the pick from Washington on the right side to Barry, who's been quiet here in the second half. Barry to Melchionni, deep along the right sideline. He feeds inside to Barry, who's fouled. Foul on George Erving as he picks up his third. And Barry goes to the line. The Nets with difficulty against this Virginia Squire club. Games have been close, but the Squires pulling 5 out. The Nets winning 1. Barry hits the foul shot down court. It goes to Akins. Akins goes cross court to Erving, knocked out of bounds by Tom Washington. So the Squires will inbound. On the near side, Erving to Taylor, back to Erving, drives left. He stops, has room for the jump over Washington, and is good. Washington giving him 2 feet. And he hit from 15 on the left baseline. 72-65, a 7-point lead for the Nets. Melchionni, a pass to Gene Moore at the high post to Roche on the fly down the lane. Inside to Moore, lays it up and in. 72-67, 5-point lead for the Squires. This is the third game in the series here at New York. The Squires have won the first 2. Fatty Taylor down the lane, dribbles between his legs, but he's fouled by Bill Melchionni. Melchionni picks up his second personal. And Fatty Taylor goes to the line. He'll have 1 shot. Taylor with 12 points. The one-hand around the rim and good. 6-point lead for the Squires. 73-67. 7 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in the third period. Gene Moore at the high post. Pass inside to Melchionni is knocked away, stolen by Akins, but we have a whistle. A foul on Fatty Taylor as he held Gene Moore. So Moore to the line. That is Taylor's third personal. And Moore will have 1 shot. Gene with 14 points around the rim and in. 73-68, 5-point lead for Virginia. They have the ball. Charlie Scott along the right sideline, works off the pick from Erving underneath to Akins. Akins is shoved from behind by Gene Moore, who fouls him. Aiken puts up the shot and he missed it. Let's pause for station identification right here where you're set for the Nets.
Like to start your day with a lot of fun and a lot of important information and all the news of the morning? You'll get it all with HOA Herb Oscar Anderson, New York's morning mayor on WHN New York, 1050.
Jim Akins on the line. He hits the first one. The game Tuesday, Akins was 11 for 11 from the foul line. He's 3 for 3 right now. Ollie Taylor in the game for the Nets, replacing John Roche, who does not seem to have it tonight. He goes out without any points. Akins' second shot is good. Taylor, despite the fact that reported before the game, Taylor had a strained tendon in his right ankle, is in there. 75-68. Nets by trailing by 7. Melchionni in the lane across to Moore for the jump. He banks it in. Gene Moore, he now has 17 points. Virginia with the ball deep in the forecourt on the right side. Erving, top of the key to Taylor. They work on the left side to Erving. Erving hands to Scott along the sidelines. Top of the key to Erving. He fakes left on Barry. Holds up to Scott. He's downtown for the long one-hander. Good! Charlie Scott goes downtown, and that lead is now 7. Scott with 24 points. Ollie Taylor drives right down the lane, running one-hander. He banks around the rim. No good. Rebound Moore underneath, and he flips it in. Gene Moore again. He now has 19 points. 6-point lead for the Squires. Charlie Scott, top of the key, lets a long one-hander go off the rim to the right. Rebound Moore. Moore hands to Washington. Washington veers left over the midcourt line on Julius Erving as he controls the ball. Now the pass across to Melchionni, top of the key, drives left to the left baseline around the pick for Moore at the foul line, turns the jump, got it. Melchionni with a soft jumper, and he has 17 points. 78-74, the Nets trail by 4, and Virginia now calling a timeout. This is Al Albert with New York Nets basketball action on WHN. Timeout here at the Island Garden. The score, the Squires 78, the Nets 74. 5 minutes, 42 seconds remaining. We're in the third period. The Nets trailing the Squires 78-74. They were behind by 3 at the halftime, shooting only 36% in the first quarter. John Roche having a very cold evening after his hot performance, going 4 for 5 from downtown Thursday against the Floridians. Roche did not even attempt a downtown shot this evening, basically because he was having trouble from close-in range, going 0 for 7 in the first half. Roche now on the bench is scoreless as Ollie Taylor in the guard position. Squires with the ball as Charlie Scott brings it across, a left-hand dribble. He's got it very closely by Ollie Taylor. Scott hooks a pass to Akins at the foul line, inside to Erving. He's working on Washington. Fall-away jump from the baseline off the side of the rim. Rebound Washington in the lane. He scoops it out to Barry. Barry at midcourt. In the left corner to Taylor, who can't hold on. The Nets can't afford these turnovers. They had 14 in the first half, coming off a game against the Floridians in which they had 25. Scott inside to Akins, who hands to Scott, who lays it in. 26 points for Charlie Scott, averaging 36 a game, leading the league. 6-point lead for the Squires. Washington at the foul line. Across to Gene Moore, bobbles the ball. He has it. Outside to Melchionni, guarded by Taylor. To Washington foul line. Pass to Barry. His one-hander is in and out. Tipped by Moore. It's good. Moore now has 21 points, of which 13 are here in the third period. Charlie Scott works it across on Ollie Taylor. He scoops to George Erving, drives right to the foul line. A pass to Erving. He drives the baseline on Washington, underneath to Erving. Turnaround hook pass to Akins in the lane for the jumper. That is good. Squires making good on their shots. They now lead by 6, 82-76. 4:18 to go in this third period. A capacity crowd watching on. Melchionni on the right side almost loses to Fatty Taylor. Melchionni top of the key across to Ollie Taylor. He drives right to the top of the key. Passes the high post to Washington. Washington to Gene Moore, left side of the circle. He's open, does not shoot to Melchionni. Foul line for the short jump around the rim. No good. Erving with a rebound, took it down in one hand, palmed the ball, down court to Taylor. Taylor to Erving, right side of the circle, open for the one-hander that is way off. Too much time for Erving to shoot. Barry with a rebound. Midcourt to Moore. He hands to Melchionni, right side of the lane, turnaround jump, good! 82-78. That's trailing by 4. Melchionni now with 19 points. Charlie Scott with the ball for Virginia. Along the left sideline, he's going downtown again. In and out. Rebound. Washington battles underneath with Akins. And a foul called. It's on Akins, his fourth. Charlie Scott going downtown from the left side. The shot in and out. 82-78. Nets at the ball. They trail by 4. 3:22 remaining in the third period. Melchionni veers left and left baseline. Stops, turns, hits. Melchionni now has 21 points. The high man tied with Gene Moore for the Nets. Pass down court. Erving and Washington battle. Erving saves it to Erving across to Ollie Taylor. Off his hand, stolen by Ollie Taylor. Was to Roland Taylor, the initial pass. Melchionni down court is pushed away. And a foul call with Erving and Irvine in there, and the two Scotts and the Taylors on each club. A mix-up. So the foul called on the Squires. Sojourner goes in, replacing Akins, who leaves with 4. That foul on Melchionni picked up by Charlie Scott as Melchionni goes to the line. He has 21 points. 3 minutes remaining in the third period. The one shot is missed. So that's 12 by 2. Erving with the rebound. Down court to Erving. He sets a long one-hander. Good! George Erving from way outside on the right. He hits, and he now has 8 points. 84-80. Nets trail by 4. Rick Barry, right side of the circle. Now works to the top of the key around the pick for Moore. The pass to Moore behind him and stolen by Charlie Scott. On the run with Barry right on him. Scott hooks it up and in. Bad pass by Barry. 86-80. The Nets trail by 6 points. 2:30 to go. Sloppy game by the Nets as Melchionni brings it across. Right side to Moore. Moore, top of the key, across to Barry on the drive. Stops, turnaround, jump, good! Barry now with 20 points. 86-82. The Nets trail by 4. Once again, Charlie Scott for the Squires brings it across. It's downtown along the left sideline. Pass left side of the circle to Erving. He's working on Washington. Drives left with the left-hand dribble on the baseline. Turnaround jump off the back of the rim. The tip by Washington to Ollie Taylor. Across to Barry, 4-on-2. Barry left side of the lane. Stops the one-hander. Got it. 86-84. Squires now by 2 as Charlie Scott in the forecourt. Drives on Taylor. Left baseline. Turnaround jump around the rim. No good. Gene Moore with the rebound to Ollie Taylor. Down court to Barry. 2-on-1. Barry holds up. A shot from 20. Got it. All tied at 86 with a minute 33 remaining in this third period. And once again, Charlie Scott works it across, this time on the right sideline. He's guarded by Ollie Taylor. Scott holds it over his head inside the Sojourner. Sojourner palms the ball away from Moore to Charlie Scott. Drives left, stops the one-hander around the rim, no good. Rebound, Julius Erving underneath, palms the ball, shoots it, blocked by Moore, but a foul. As Julius Erving took the ball right out of the hands of Tom Washington underneath. The foul on Washington, who commits his 4th. And Erving goes to the line. Bernie Williams in the ball game for the Squires, replacing Roland Taylor. Erving on the line will have 2 shots. It's amazing what this guy can do in the air. First one is good as he works with he likes to palm the ball away from everybody and scoops with that palm ball. His rebounds, he takes down if he can, if he has the room, with one hand. He grabs the ball off the rim on the palm and brings it down. He hits the second shot. Nets trail by 2, 88-86. Melchionni works the left sideline. Goes to Taylor at the foul line. Can't get the shot off. Now does, and he's fouled by Charlie Scott. As Scott fouled Taylor and caught the ball. So Taylor will have 2 shots. That is the 3rd personal on Scott. So Taylor on the line for 2. He could tie it up with a minute remaining in the third period. Taylor's first shot hits the front of the rim, no good. So he'll have one more. Taylor at 68% from the foul line. His second shot, good. 88-87, Squires by 1. They have the ball down court. George Erving along the left sideline. A bounce pass to Sojourner. Sojourner turns in the lane for the soft one-hander off the back of the rim. Rebound tipped to Melchionni. Melchionni racing across the midcourt line to top the key to the foul line across to Barry. Underneath to Taylor. He's hemmed into Barry. Baseline left for the jump. That is around the rim and out. Rebound Julius Erving. He loses control. Picked up by Williams. Down court to Erving. Whips it across to Erving, who lays it up. No good. And a whistle. Goaltending called on Washington, as they interfered with the ball on the rim, and Erving gets the basket on a pass from Erving, who once again palming the ball away from his man, then whipped the pass with a one hand to Erving underneath. 90-87. Nets trailing the Squires by 3. 22 seconds to go in the third period. Melchionni along the right sideline. He's guarded by Williams closely. 15 seconds to go. 13 seconds on the 30-second clock. Melchionni wheels the foul line down the lane. The one-hander is blocked by Erving, but a whistle. Foul called on George Erving. That's his fourth. So taking a look at the foul situation, Erving, Akins have 4 for Virginia. Moore and Washington have 4 for the Nets. As Melchionni goes to the line, he has 21 points tonight. He's missed his last 2 from the foul line. He's 3 for 5. He has 2 shots. The first is good. 90-88. Nets behind by 2 points. 9 seconds remaining in the third period. Melchionni's second shot around the rim and in. 1 point lead for the Squires. They have the ball. 8 seconds to go. Scott down court. Intercepted by Barry. Barry at midcourt. A turning hook is back, no good. Rebound taken by Charlie Scott as the buzzer sound. Barry had time, but he let the wild hook go from the right side. He was in the downtown area. This is Al Albert at the Island Garden with New York Nets basketball on WHN. The score at the end of the third quarter, the Squires 90, the Nets 89. Well, here in the last game to be played at the Island Garden, the biggest crowd to see a net basketball game at the Island Garden, 6,728, and they're witnessing a wild one. 1 point lead for the Squires, 90-89, as we head into the last period. The Squires, in 6 games against the Nets, have won 5, 4 of which have gone down to the wire. Now, once again, we head now into the fourth quarter, and the team separated by 1 point. In the standings, the Squires with a 6-game lead over the Nets. Virginia 33-23, 9.5 games out of the first place position in the Kentucky Colonels. The Nets with a record of 27-29. They're battling to get up to 500, 15.5 behind the Colonels, 6 behind the Squires. Last time the Nets were at the 500 position, we're back in the middle of November. They had a record of 9-9. Now 2 games behind 500. With Virginia tonight, they trail by 1, and then they go to Kentucky tomorrow night. Game time tomorrow night is 8:10. Bill Mazur with the Nets close-up at 7:55. On the jump ball, Moore for the Nets jumping against Sojourner for the Squires. On the opening tip, controlled by the Nets, Washington in the forecourt, goes across to Melchionni. Melchionni on the drive, turns the ball over on the travel. Squires with the ball on the backcourt. The Nets have not played strong basketball, but still in it. Trailing by 1. Bernie Williams in the forecourt. A pass to Erving. Erving in the right corner to Erving. He whirls on Washington. Turnaround, jump, swish. Julius Erving. He has 23 points. Last night against the Floridians, Scott with 37, Erving with 32. Half a minute gone by in this fourth quarter. Nets trail by 3. Ollie Taylor deep outside. He drives on Bernie Williams to the baseline corner to Melchionni, who hits. Melchionni with a hot hand. He has 25 points. And the lead once again 1. Virginia 92, the Nets 91. Williams in the forecourt on the right side. He's picked up by Melchionni on the weave to Erving. George Erving, right-hand pass to Julius Erving in the corner. Stolen by Washington. He feeds ahead to Barry. Barry dribbling in the crowd on the right side to Taylor. Stops, turns, one-hander. Good! And the Nets by 1, 93-92. Charlie Scott, top of the key, down the lane, running one-hander up the back of the rim. It's tipped to Melchionni in the lane. All the way down court is Washington, who's on the floor, and it hops over him out of bounds. Washington was injured on the previous play. Melchionni got the rebound, fired down court. Apparently, he didn't even look down court. Figured Washington would be there. He was, but he was sitting under the basket, as apparently he was injured on the last play. So an easy bucket for the Nets, and Melchionni, who turned, did not look, and fired, threw this one away. So Washington now being attended to by Fritz Massman, the trainer, and Dr. Alan Levy, and Lou Conaseca, and he is being helped up from the floor, and now being helped off. Apparently it's his left foot, and now he's standing up and walking around. Apparently he's all right. 10 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in the ball game. The Nets lead it by 1, 93-92. They had a great opportunity right there to add 2 more points. Washington now coming out as he walks slowly off the court. He leaves the game with 10 points and 4 personal fouls. John Baum comes in to replace the troop. Squires with the ball in the backcourt. Charlie Scott brings it across, deep along the right side on a pass to Erving. Erving hands to Scott along the sidelines. He's guarded by Taylor. Scott tries to make his move, pushes off on Taylor, and a foul. The foul committed on Ollie. So Ollie Taylor picks up his first, and Charlie Scott goes to the line. He'll have 1 shot. He could tie it up here. 10:33 to go in the ball game. Charlie Scott with a one-hander that is good. 93 all. John Baum inbounds to Ollie Taylor. Taylor in the forecourt along the left sideline. He's guarded by Charlie Scott with a right-hand dribble, moves to the foul line. He looks for Barry, hits him going around, turnaround jump from the top of the key off the side of the rim. Julius Erving with the rebound as the ball looked like it was beyond him, but he grabbed it in down court to George Erving at the baseline, who hits. George Erving with a fine touch. Now has 6 field goals. Guy who's averaging 3 points a game has 12. 10 minutes, 5 seconds remaining. As Melchionni brings the ball across around the pick from Barry, and there's a whistle, a foul, as Barry was shoved by Bernie Williams, who's trying to break the pick. And Williams commits the foul, his second personal, and Barry goes to the line. 95-93, the Nets trailing the Squires by 2. Barry hits the first, he'll get another. Rick 9 for 9 from the foul line. He has 25 points. He and Melchionni are high for the Nets with 25. Now Barry hits the second one. He has 26. Gene Moore also with 20 points for the Nets. In the 20 category, actually has 21. George Erving across to Julius Erving. Left side of the lane, he spins on Baum. He's stopped by Baum. Palms the ball away from Baum. Gives the Sojourner back to Erving. Top of the key. Dribbles between his legs. Underneath the Charlie Scott fakes. Now goes up with the one-hander. It's blocked by Moore, but a whistle. Goaltending call on what appeared to be a clean block by Gene Moore. And Charlie Scott gets the 2 points. He has 31. A pass to Gene Moore. Top of the key to Melchionni across to Taylor. He's open. Now shoots for a one-hander. Got it. Ollie Taylor. His last 2 baskets from 20 feet. 97-97. Williams with the ball for the Squires. Left side of the circle to Erving. Top of the key to Scott. Tries left hands to Williams around the screen of Erving. The one-hander is short. Rebound Barry in the lane. Knocked away by Williams, but a foul. A backcourt foul on Williams, but now they're going to give the ball to the Nets. Apparently a rebounding foul, saying that Barry did not have possession. Ollie Taylor inbounds to Melchionni in the backcourt. Tied at 97 with 9:13 remaining in the ball game. Melchionni fakes off the pick from Barry. Drives to the foul line. A pass inside taken by Sojourners. Melchionni just forced it underneath. Sojourner deep in the corner to Erving. Erving inside the Sojourner, whirls on Moore. The shot is no good. A foul call. It's on Gene Moore, who commits his 5th, and Billy Paultz, who's been sitting on the bench most of this game, now coming in. Paultz had played 13 minutes in the first half, scoring 5 points and 5 rebounds. Gene Moore comes out. Moore with a good night, 21 points. as he committed his 5th personal foul. Sojourner to the line. He'll have 2. The first is good. 1-point lead for the Squires. Sojourner on the second shot. Good. 99-97. Virginia by 2. The Nets have the ball. Ollie Taylor whirls in the backcourt. Can't get over on Scott. Now gives to Melchionni. On the left sideline, a pass to Paultz. Whips outside to Baum. To Barry. Drives around the pick from Baum. The one-hander is forced. Is short. Barry and Paultz fight for the ball. Barry gets it and puts it in. Tied at 99. Barry with 28. Charlie Scott for the Squires. In the forecourt on the left side. Bounces it into Sojourner. Palms the ball away from Paultz. Gives to Erving at the baseline for the jump. In and out. Rebound Sojourner underneath. Goes up. He's fouled. Paultz coming out on Erving. On that play, Erving shot it over Paultz, and Paultz out of position. Sojourner with the easy rebounder. And went up for the shot. He was fouled by Baum. So Sojourner once again on the line for 2 shots. He's not a good foul shooter at 60% for the season, but he's hit 4 for 5 tonight. First shot around the rim and out. As Lou Carnesecco off the bench, signaling for his club to take a timeout when they get the ball. Sojourner's second shot around the rim, no good. Paultz with the rebound, whips to Melchionni. Melchionni over the midcourt line. Melchionni on the right side to Barry. Apparently they're not going to call that timeout. Barry inside to Taylor. A whistle. He was pushed off from behind by Charlie Scott. And Scott picks up his 4th. We have 8.5 minutes remaining in the ball game, and tied at 99. Taylor sets at the foul line for 1. Around the rim, no good. Julius Erving with the rebound. Hands to Charlie Scott. Scott over the midcourt line, veers left to left baseline, stops, turns, one-hander, swish! Charlie Scott with a turning one-hander. And the Squires by 2. 101-99, and now the Nets called their timeout. This is Al Albert with New York Nets basketball action on WHN. There's timeout here at the Island Garden. The score, the Squires 101, the Nets 99. Eight minutes, 17 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. The Squires by 2, 101-99. The Squires, who opened up an 11-point lead in the first period, the Nets catching up somewhat before the quarter ended, trailing 31-30 at the end of the first. The Squires leading 59-56 at the end of the first half. Squires shooting 49% in the first half, the Nets 36%. And in the third quarter, the Nets outscoring the Squires 33-31, so they came into this 4th quarter, the Nets trailing by 1, 90-89. And now with 8:17 remaining, they trail by 2, 101-99. The Nets have the ball. Melchionni brings it across on the left side. Feeds to Barry on the sidelines, inside to Taylor. Turnaround jump over Scott around the rim, and good, as Washington is back in the game, replacing Baum. As Taylor hits the basket, he has 7 points. Tied at 101. Charlie Scott deep along the right sideline. Outside to Erving. Erving holds the ball high over his head, works it around to George Erving on the left side, bounce pass into Sojourner, gives it to Williams. He's free at the baseline for the jump. Off the rim, rebound, Erving in the lane for the jump. No good, he's fouled. Julius Erving is doing a great job once again off the boards. He had 20 rebounds against the Nets Tuesday. He's the top rebounding forward in the league. 3rd in the league behind Gilmore and Daniels in rebounding, 16 a game. That foul, by the way, on Washington, checked into the game quickly and picks up his 5th, and will just as quickly be checking out as John Baum comes in. Erving's first foul shot is good, so the Squires by 1. Erving has to be approaching the 20 rebounds again tonight. He had 11 in the first half. Second shot by Erving is good. He's 7 for 8 from the foul line. He has 25 points. Charlie Scott has 33. 103-101. Squires by 2. 7:36 remaining in the ball game. Rick Bowery along the left sideline with Scott on him. Drives to the baseline. One-hander over Scott. Got it. Bowery now with 30. And we're tied at 103. 7:25 to go. George Erving down court, gets away from Barry. Pass underneath to Charlie Scott. Drives into the lane. Turns. The soft one-hander is good. Charlie Scott turning it on. He has 35 points. Barry brings it across for the Nets. He's downtown on the right side, cuts left to the foul line down the lane. Lefty hook is blocked by Sojourner, but goaltending. Goaltending call on Willie Sojourner. Barry went up for the left-hand hook, which was nowhere close to the basket, but Sojourner committed the goaltending. Tied at 105. Scott and Barry exchanging baskets. Here's Scott down the lane. Hooks up a one-hander. No good. Rebound. Paultz tips to Ollie Teller. Down court to Melchionni. Veers right to the foul line to Barry. Barry right baseline. Loses to Williams, but it's knocked out of bounds. 6:50 remaining in the game. As Barry will inbound over the end line. He does so to Taylor. Drives right on Charlie Scott, and he's hit as George Erving stuck a hand in there, and Charlie Scott backs Taylor out, and they call the foul on Scott. That is his fifth personal foul on Scott with 6:47 remaining. Ollie Taylor at the foul line. He has one shot around the rim. No good. Tipped by Paultz. It's good. Billy Paultz tips it in for the basket for two, and the Nets lead by about 2 points. 107-105. Paultz with 7. Charlie Scott, he's downtown on the right side, top of the key to Erving inside the Sojourner, who's fouled from behind by Billy Paultz. So Sojourner goes to the line once again. Just his last 2 from there. He's 4 for 7 from the foul line. 6:37 remaining in the game. The Nets would like to cut a chunk into that Virginia lead with a win tonight. They trail the Squires by 6 games in the standings. Virginia in second, the Nets in third as Sojourner hits the foul shot. 1 point lead for the Nets. They have the ball. Melchionni outside to Barry, guarded by Erving. Barry looking for the cutting Melchionni. Melchionni doesn't cut but comes outside. Barry drives left to the left baseline. The one-hander, he banks no good. Charlie Scott with the rebound. Scott pushing with Barry, and there's a whistle. It's on Barry. The foul on Barry in the backcourt. That is his third. And Scott, who was playing with 5 personal fouls, swinging his elbows after the rebound underneath. But Barry committing the foul. So Charlie Scott, who has 35 points, he's 8 for 12 from the foul line, will have 2 shots to the basket to our left as Scott hits the first one and ties it up at 107. Scott with one more. The one-hander, as he bends his knees low, and the one-hander is good. 108-107. Virginia by 1. 6:12 to go in the ball game. Melchionni plances it across the midcourt line on Williams. Takes a pick from Barry. Drives to the foul line. Turnaround pass is blocked by Erving. Taken off by Williams. Melchionni trying to force the pass underneath. Comes down court to Charlie Scott. Scott loses to Barry. Picks it up. Long one-hander. Good! What a shot by Scott. Fall-away jump with Barry and Melchionni on him. 110-107. Scott now with 39. Melchionni along the left sideline works up the pick from Baum. The pass to Barry on the drive. Lays it up and in. Rick now with 34. 110-109. Scott with the ball along the left sideline. He's going downtown. It's good! And he's fouled. Unbelievable shot by Charlie Scott. Deep along the left side. He was downtown with Ollie Teller right on him. Well, high in the air, a flick of the wrist, and he swished it through, and he's fouled. Scott killing the Nets here. 113-109. The lead is now 4. The Nets had just been up by 2. And Scott now going for the 4-point play. He was fouled by Taylor. And the shot is good. So Scott has made the last 6, including this last 4-pointer. On a 5-point lead for the Squires. 114-109. 5:20 remaining in the ball game. Rick Barry left side, Ollie Taylor along the baseline to Barry. Fakes now, goes up with the one-hander. He banks no good. Akins with the rebound. He just checked into the game for Sojourner. And the Squires lose it out of bounds, but they say it last touched the net. So Charlie Scott is playing with 5 personal fouls, apparently getting in all the scoring he can. He has 43 points. He has the ball. deep along the right side. He spins on Ollie Taylor to the foul line. Turnaround jump is short. Rebound, John Baum for the Nets. Baum hands to Barry. Barry with a right-hand dribble brings it out of the backcourt. The pass right side of the lane to Taylor. Turnaround jump off the side of the rim. The tip by Paultz is good, as Paultz got position underneath on Akins. And he has 9 points. 114-111. The Nets trail by 3. Virginia with the ball. They call a timeout with 4:36 remaining. I'm Marv Albert. This is New York Nets basketball on WHN. There is a timeout here at the Island Garden. Again, the score. The Squires 114, the Nets 111. Back at the Island Garden with the sign at the far side of the court. Some fans holding up. Island Garden lives. Well, it will live for another 4 minutes, 36 seconds, as that's the time remaining in this ball game. The last one to be played here at the Island Garden as the Nets shift to the new 16,000-seat Nassau Coliseum Friday against the Pittsburgh Condors. Game time 8:15 for the opener, Friday, February 11th at the Nassau Coliseum. Squires with the ball. They have the lead by 3. Charlie Scott, who has 43 points, has the ball, gives to Roland Taylor, top of the key, across to Scott. Scott on the left side to Erving, back to Scott, drives to left baseline, fakes on Taylor, gets the jump off the side of the rim. Rebound, a battle for it. It's back tap to the top of the key. Roland Taylor has it for the Squires. Taylor fakes left, goes right, drives to the foul line, now stops across to Julius Erving. Erving inside to Akins at the right baseline. He turns on Paultz, looks for Charlie Scott. Akins with the ball on the floor, now still looks, hands to Julius Erving at the right baseline, dribbles between his legs, hands to Charlie Scott. He's picked up by Paultz underneath. His pass intercepted by Barry and restolen by Erving. To Scott in the right corner, the one-hander around the rim and drops through. Scott now with 45 points. This season he has hit over 40 points in 18 ball games. His high game is 50. He's hit that twice. We still have 3:38 remaining in this ball game. Melchionni, right side of the circle to the cutting Taylor. Inside to Bauman, the drive, lays it up and in. 3.5 minutes to go. The Nets trail by 4. 116 by 3. 116-113. Roland Taylor to Charlie Scott on the right side. He's downtown. He cuts left to the top of the key across to George Erving. Is guarded by Barry. Erving drives to the left baseline. Now turns around to Roland Taylor. Back to Erving along the sidelines to Julius Erving. He spins on Baum at the baseline. Turnaround jump. Good. Julius Erving hits. 118-113. The Squires with Charlie Scott in there with 5 personal fouls. And as long as he's in there, they look to have control. 3 minutes remaining. John Baum, deep in the left corner, inside to Paultz, working on Akins. Hands to Melchionni, left side from 20, off the back of the rim. Ollie Taylor fighting with Charlie Scott underneath, and they say it went off the hands of Taylor. So the Squires with the ball and the 5-point lead. The clock is ticking. 2:45 remaining in the game. As Scott has it in the forecourt on the right side, and now the Squires are taking their time. Charlie Scott dribbling the ball down at midcourt. Taylor right on him. They clear the right side for Scott to go one-on-one, but he drives left. Turns left side of the lane, does not shoot. Brings outside to Erving. Erving works the lane, turnaround, jump, swish. Julius Erving and Charlie Scott are ripping into the Nets here. Scott with 45, Erving now with 29. Rick Barry on the drive to the left baseline. The one-hander is blocked by Erving, but a whistle, a foul. It's the 5th on Erving. And Barry goes to the line. The game getting away from the Nets here in the 4th quarter. They trail by 7. 120-113 is Charlie Scott, just unstoppable. Even with men around him enveloping Scott, he is getting the shot off and hitting. Rick Barry hits the first shot, first foul shot. He has 35, which is going unnoticed by the performance of Charlie Scott. Hits the second one. 5-point lead for Virginia. 2:09 remaining. Charlie Scott in the backcourt, walking along the sidelines, discussing things with his coach Al Bianchi. Now brings it across. Top of the key to Taylor, as the Squires will play as much of the clock down as they can. Charlie Scott, he's at midcourt as they clear the right side for him. He drives right on Taylor, going one-on-one. He's picked up by Melchionni. Turns, jumps, no good, but he's called for traveling. Scott travels as he works one-on-one on the right side, but Taylor getting help from Bill Melchionni. Charlie Taylor in the forecourt to Baum at the foul line. Turnaround jump, rims the basket, no good. Rebound Aikens. A minute 37 to go. The Squires, in their 7th game against the Nets, they've won 5 of the first 6. Here's Charlie Scott cutting around the pick from Aikens. He's free, but brings it back to the top of the key. To Roland Taylor. Taylor back to Scott. Scott drives left to the left corner. Turnaround jump. Good! Charlie Scott is unbelievable. He has now 19 points in this 4th quarter. He has 47 points tonight. A minute 10 to go. Bill Melchionni drives the baseline to Baum. Can't hold on. Melchionni picks it up. Turnaround jump. Good! Melchionni hits. He now has 27. 122-117. The Nets trailing by 5. A minute to go. Charlie Scott holds the ball deep in the forecourt. Works it along the midcourt line with Taylor right on him. Taylor with his hand pushing away Scott. Scott still has it deep in the forecourt to Roland Taylor in the right corner. Taylor works it along the sidelines. Across to Charlie Scott, top of the key to the foul line. He's open. He takes the jump and he hits. Charlie Scott, 21 points in this quarter. He has 49 on the game. 7-point lead for the Squires. Barry, top of the key. Long one-hander is way off. And it goes out of bounds. As Barry trying that one from downtown, but it was off, out of bounds. Squires with the ball. The Squires are doing it again. 3rd game here at the Island Garden against the Nets, and they continue their dominance over New York. And the Nets cannot really seriously threaten the Squires without being able to take them in their home court. Virginia with the ball, as Erving is fouled in the forecourt. 13 seconds remaining. The Nets trailing by 7. The largest crowd in the history of the Island Garden to see the Nets here tonight and in the last game to be played here at the Island Garden. Now starting to file out. Crowd of 6,728 watching tonight as the Nets ship to the Nassau Coliseum Friday. Julius Erving on the line, hits his first one, so he has 30 points. 8 for 9 from the foul line. Second shot by Erving is good. Nets trailing by 1 going into the 4th quarter. They now trail by 9. 12 seconds to go. Melchionni to Baum on the drive on Aikens. Goes back to Paultz. Paultz moves to the downtown area. Now goes inside to Baum. 3 seconds to go. Melchionni, he's going downtown. Off the rim, no good. And there's the buzzer. Well, that's it here at the Island Garden. The final score, the Virginia Squires 126, the New York Nets 117. I'll be back with the scoring in a minute. Well, the Nets losing their second this week to the Virginia Squires. Now New York 3 games under 500, a record of 27-30. The Squires 11 games up from the 500 mark. A mark they are really not worried about, 34-23, and now they expand that lead to 7 games over the Nets. Tonight, the performance of Charlie Scott, winning it for Virginia. It was close going into the 4th quarter. The Nets 1 down, trailing 90-89, but Scott opening up, scoring 21 points in the 4th quarter, ending with 49. Virginia outscoring the Nets 36-28 in that last quarter to win it 126-117. Taking a look at the individual scoring, for the 18th time this season, Charlie Scott has gone over 40 points. He's the high leading scorer in the league with 36 points a game. He had 49 tonight. Went downtown 3 times, 2 times, 16 field goals from the 2-point area, 11 for 15 from the foul line, and that's going to be a congested line tomorrow on the box scores in the papers, as Charlie Scott, who played most of the 4th quarter with 5 personal fouls, ends up with 49 points. Twice this season he has hit the 50 mark, scoring 50 on the nose. So Scott with 49 points. Julius Erving, who didn't do too badly himself, with 11 field goals, 9 for 10 from the foul line. He had 31 points. Roland Taylor with 6 field goals, 1 for 1 from the line, 13 points. George Ervin, who was a solid replacement for Doug Moe and Neil Johnson, both out with injuries, although Moe was dressed. Moe did not play. Johnson back in Virginia. Ervin with 6 field goals, 0 for 1 from the line. He had 12 points. Jim Akins, 3 field goals, 4 for 4 from the foul line. He had 10. Willie Sojourner, 2 field goals, 5 for 8 from the foul line. He had 9. And Adrian Smith with a field goal, 2 points. For the Nets, Rick Barry was high. He had 12 field goals, 12 for 12 from the foul line, 36 points. Bill Melchionni, his top scoring night in some time. He had 11 field goals, 5 for 7 from the foul line, 27 points. Gene Moore, 9 field goals, 3 for 3, 21 points. Tom Washington had 10 points, 4 field goals, 2 for 2 from the foul line for 10. Billy Paultz with 4 field goals, 1 for 1 from the line, 9 points. Ollie Taylor with 3 field goals, 1 for 3 from the foul line, 7. John Baum, 3 field goals, 6 points. And Joe Dupree with 1 for 1 from the foul line, 1 point. John Roche, who in the first half extremely cold, going 0 for 7 from the floor, so very little action in the second half, and went scoreless tonight. He attempted 1 foul shot, and he missed it. So the Nets losing here to Virginia by the score of 126 to 117. And with very Jerry Beck and his wandering orchestra, we wave goodbye to the Island Garden as it fades away in the sunset, or actually the moon glow, and joins the likes of Ebbets Field, the Polo Grounds, and the Lower East Side Grounds. Thanks tonight to our engineer, very Jerry Beck, who is now leading the procession. Our statistician, Saul Gimme the Ball Michon, on this sad evening. This has been another WHN Sports Exclusive. New York Nets basketball live from the Island Garden. Tonight's game brought to you by the Long Island Lighting Company, by Schaefer Beer, First National City Bank, Dr. Pepper, and by your Chrysler Plymouth dealers. This is Al Albert, and I'll be at Louisville for the play-by-play of the Nets Colonels game tomorrow night, starting at 8:10. Bill Mazur with the Nets wrap-up, or the Nets close-up, at 7:55. He'll be here with the wrap-up following this. Charlie Scott will be his guest. And the saddest part of all is the final score. Virginia 126, the Nets 117.
Wrap Up with WHN Sports Director Bill Mazur.
Nets Wrap Up is brought to you by your Chevron dealers who bring you F3 Tenet Works and National Airlines. We'll have Charlie Scott as our guest. Take care of all the scores, but first a quick update on the news with Ian McLeod. We'll be talking with Charlie Scott right after this from your Chevron dealers. Losing to Virginia is a difficult thing for the Nets to begin with, but when you recognize the fact that it's 2 former New York City or New York area boys, Julius Erving and Charlie Scott, who are doing the job, I say, boys, they're men. Man, you guys, Charlie, you guys must wait all week long to play the Nets.
Well, it's not that, but just that when you come home and you play in New York area, you know, you like to do real well. And I think that part of the cycle for the game is the idea of playing against, the Nets. You know, playing at home, in front of your parents and your long-time friends. We always go out there and give it that extra push, and that's what we've been doing every time we come to New York. Tonight we play a lot better here than we do a lot of other places.
Charlie, incidentally, before I forget about it, when you've got an average... No, I know what I was going to ask you, and almost forgot. Were you aware of the fact that you had 5 fouls in the last quarter?
Yeah, I was aware of that. When I got the 5th one, I knew I had 5, but it was at a time in the game, it was a crucial time, and we had to keep playing, so we couldn't make any changes because we had to get a tempo going, and then I tried to play, smart defense after I got my fifth foul. It wasn't the idea of not playing defense. I just wanted to play smart defense, not getting the petty foul, and just hoping that it would just carry over. My type of game would just carry me over with the fifth foul.
Charlie, have you ever run the 100 yards?
No, when I was in maybe public school, I used to run a little track, but junior high and high, I gave it up when I started playing basketball. And I haven't run track in a very long time.
You haven't any idea of what you could run the 100 in?
No, I really don't.
Did anybody ever try to make a football player out of you?
Well, when I was at Carolina my senior year, the football coach wanted me to come out to trial for a defensive end, or defensive safety. But Coach Smith wouldn't allow that, and I don't think I really wanted to play it anyway.
How much do you weigh, Charlie?
Well, I weigh 180 pounds.
Well, that's kind of light. I think I told you that the last time. For 6'5", 180 really isn't that much.
It's really light, but I think it's something in basketball that has to be overlooked now. I think too much emphasis has been put on weight, and weight doesn't play that important part for guards anymore in basketball. And really not in basketball at all. You have a lot of slim forwards and, slim centers. You look at Kareem Jabbar, and you look at, Bob Love and, Jerry West and Dave Bing. They're not really physically big.
No, I know, but in rebounding under the boards, if you don't have much weight, they can move you a little bit, I would think.
Yeah, they can move you, but you can't ever overshadow ability. Ability is the most important thing. And if the guys saying they have the ability, they always do real well.
Hey, Charlie, what did you major in at North Carolina?
I was a history major, and I was a pre-law student.
Have you any idea about going to law school?
Well, I'm going to law school this summer, definitely. Last time I wanted to go, but I was in the midst of moving out to Los Angeles, and I was in the midst of doing a lot of other things financially, and I never had a chance to get into school. But this year, now that I'm stable and everything I'm going to do, I'm going to go to law school this summer.
Which school are you going?
Well, I hope to go to UCLA since I'm going to be out in that area all summer.
You live out in Los Angeles. Does Jabbar live out there now?
Well, he lived out there last year, but as of right now, I really can't tell you. The last time I talked to him, he was talking about selling his house out there, so I don't know if he still has it or not.
Are you two guys pretty close?
Well, we grew up together, and I knew him real well. I haven't had a time to really, what you would call, hang around him a lot because of the simple fact that I went to school in North Carolina, and I was down there a lot. He was out in Los Angeles a lot during the time he was in school, and in professional basketball, we never really crossed paths.
Is he, what you've seen of him, an easygoing guy?
Well, I always know him. He's a very easygoing guy, but he's the ultimate to me as far as basketball is concerned because he is the winner, with emphasis on the word winner.
You mean, now, Charlie, really, if you had to pick the best all-around ball player you've ever seen, who would you pick?
Well, the best I've ever seen will probably have to be Kareem. Over Oscar? Well, Oscar is the greatest guard of all time. When I'm talking about, you ask about the best all-around, he does more things for his size than anybody else could ever possibly do. I would say for Kareem. Oscar does the ultimate things for the guard. As a guard, I'm talking about, if you look at Kareem and the things that he does at his size, he would be a star in another position with just the ability he has, now. Oscar is a star and the greatest one, I personally think, as far as God is concerned, with his ability. But I think that Kareem just has so much ability. He just outshined everybody. I mean, he makes everyone a winner that he plays with, and you can't beat that.
Would Gilmore ever get to that standing defensively?
Well, Gilmore is a different type ball player than Kareem. He's more of an intimidator. His strong point is his rebounding and his intimidation underneath the basket. And he's going to be a great one in that respect. I hate to compare basketball players because I think two basketball players play alike. But I think his aspect of the game will be more or similar to that of what a Bill Russell was to the Boston Celtics.
Thank you very much. That was Charlie Scott. Right now, you're tuned to Store Radio. New York. And now, before we run the scores down for you, let's hear this. The Virginia Squires beat the New York Nets 126-117. We have nothing on Pittsburgh, Carolina, or Denver, Kentucky. In the NBA, The Knicks at the end of 3 quarters lead Philadelphia 93-81. Detroit and Cincinnati going into overtime are tied at 119. Nothing on Cleveland, Atlanta. At the half, Chicago 60, Buffalo 42, Milwaukee, Houston, Los Angeles, Golden State, Phoenix, Portland later. In the National Hockey League, at the end of the first period, St. Louis 2, the Rangers 1. A final score this afternoon, Boston beat Detroit 3-2. At the end of 2 periods, Philadelphia 2, Toronto 1. At the end of 1 period, Buffalo 2, Minnesota 1. And much later tonight, Pittsburgh is at Los Angeles. I'll be back tomorrow night before the Nets-Kentucky game. New York Nets basketball is another WHN Sports exclusive. This year, WHN stands for We Have the Nets.